Hi, hello, welcome back to my channel. This is Kia's World, where I talk about myself. So sometimes I ask questions in the community section of my YouTube page just to kind of get an idea of what everyone's thinking about and wanting to talk about on this channel. And one of the questions I asked was, would you be interested in hearing a little bit about my life? Not that my life is so exciting or interesting compared to talking about self-help gurus and scams and people on the internet who are lying for money, but I have some reasons as to why I am interested in this type of content in the first place. So maybe getting a little background on who I am as a person might help you and myself explain why this is important to me and kind of what I'm going through. Today, I wanted to talk about how I got sober, why I got sober, and what it means in my life today. I am 30. I just turned 30 a couple months ago, and I've been sober for 2 years exactly. Actually, this month is my 2-year sobriety birthday anniversary. I never went through any sort of formal Alcoholics Anonymous. I never identified publicly or even really privately as an alcoholic. Nothing where I thought, like, I watched the show Intervention a lot growing up and, even as an adult. And the people on that show obviously are usually very extreme cases. When they show someone with alcoholism and they're unable to stop, or they have shakes, or they're drinking every day. I never drank every day. I never really drank alone. But when I was in public or in a social setting, I did have a hard time stopping after a couple. And that was my problem. I started drinking when I was 16, is the first time I can remember actually going to a party, having alcohol there, drinking it. The first time I had one beer and I was like, whoa, I'm wasted, which I wasn't, but I didn't know the feeling. There was one day where I just went all in and, was taking shots and trying to be, the cool party girl. That was definitely my vibe, and trying to be that was a big part of my identity at the time, being 16, and I had a lot of issues at home that I was not dealing with because obviously I was 16, I didn't know what to do. I was an only child. I am an only child still. I had no one really to talk to that understood what was going on at home, so I felt like going out with friends, I didn't necessarily want to talk about it either. I just wanted to forget about it. And the easiest, best ways, anyone will tell you, when you're starting to express emotions is, here, have a drink. Here, take a shot. Here, shut up and just drink this. Kind of was the solution, and still is, for a lot of people, it's the easiest thing. It's just have a glass of wine, relax, don't worry about it, it'll be fine. And I learned that young. I'd start complaining about my family life or my situation. It was just here, have a beer, you'll feel better. And I did. It's true, I did feel better. I had at least 2 instances when I was, a junior in high school where I was blacked out completely, no memories, waking up and kind of my friends retelling what happened. I was vomiting everywhere, and I probably should have been taken to the hospital, to be honest, but everyone was afraid that I was, that they were going to get in trouble. Thankfully, I didn't die, obviously, but, looking back, I definitely should have been probably hospitalized at that point for being so young, and, we're just taking shot after shot after shot after shot and not thinking about it or the consequences. So my mom drank basically every day. When I was growing up, she would put wine into Sprite bottles and bring it to the grocery store. And I remember telling people that in high school, and they thought it was so cool. They thought she was awesome, for doing that, because she was life hacking the grocery store. But looking back, I'm was that a good thing? A lot of parents are like that. I get it, but that's what I grew up in. So having alcohol around was a norm thing. And when I would get drunk, I mean, she knew I was drunk, or she knew I was coming home hungover, and there was never a conversation as to like, are you okay? Is everything going all right? It was always just like, oh, kids, they drink, and that happens. And she would say that she drank as a 16-year-old, so she wasn't really concerned at all about my drinking habits, or if I was developing something that was not healthy for me. There was really no conversation at all. So that was basically, I got through high school, graduated, no major issues related to alcohol. I mean, like I said, I should have been probably hospitalized at least once, but I didn't. I wasn't. I was okay. Graduated, had good grades, got into college, went to college, and drank pretty much immediately. Socially, I never drank alone. That was one thing, that I remember. It was mostly for socializing reasons, because I have pretty bad anxiety. My whole life I've had anxiety, so having alcohol, really eased my tensions with meeting people and socializing. And I had a lot of issues, so, on top of the socializing aspect, just relaxing, getting drunk and, relaxing was something that I started to do as well. Not like horrible, but like, any college kid, like every weekend we were going to bars. My friends and I were going to bars, and, shots, free drinks before a certain period, you're pounding drinks. All my friends, we would meet at the bar. It was not like I've had friends outside of the bar and then in the bar. Like, all my friends were like bar people. After an internship, I was rushing to the bar, changing in the car, putting makeup on, to make sure I made it to happy hour. And that was like my source of all happiness, in my life, at that time. And then I graduated and I immediately started a job where I worked overnight hours, which sucked. I was up at like my alarm went off at midnight. I had to be at work at 2 a.m. So my drinking really took a break, sort of. I would drink on the weekends, but Monday morning would roll around, or I worked on the weekends a lot of times too. So Wednesday would roll around, and I had to be back at work, and I wasn't sleeping correctly, and I was drinking, and it was just like a mess. So I was really unhealthy physically at that time, just from exhaustion and from drinking. But mentally, I was not doing well either, because I was not making much money. I was very confused with what I was doing with my life, and drinking was there to help me through that, which is obviously just basically, in essence, pushing down your emotions and suppressing them. And then I returned eventually, finally, to a regular schedule, and because I was so excited about that, and I was happy for once, working a better hours and kind of enjoying my job, I started to kind of pick up the pace, drinking again, making new friends. And it seemed like all the friends that I had, I met at the bars through other friends. And it was a big thing, like Sunday brunch and unlimited mimosas. And that really became like my personality. My whole personality was brunching with champagne, or drinking on Friday, or going to a football game and playing beer pong and flip cup, and like that's who I was. So anyone who reached out to hang out with me, or I reached out to, there was going to be drinking involved. When it started to become a problem that I recognized and decided to quit was when I was 28, and I was just starting. I had gotten a life coach. That's a whole nother story that I'll have to tell at a different time about my life coach, and life coaching in general. This is before I had a therapist. This is a life coach, so it's totally a different scenario. But I had gotten a life coach, and I started to really kind of think about my issues at that time, and I was doing all this self-care. I was sleeping more, which is great. I was taking baths. I was doing yoga. I was meditating. But then I would go out and like binge drink until 2 a.m, 3 a.m. And I started to really kind of get a little tough on myself, tougher, and say, what am I doing? Why am I spending all this time, all this prep work, all this money on self-care, but then throwing it away on Saturday night to go hang out with a friend that I've known for years, and we can't even have a conversation without being blacked out? And I started to go, wait, what's going on here? I decided to give it up kind of randomly. And I just had enough. Like, it was building up over time. I was making poor decisions while drinking, and I was kind of using that as my excuse all the time. Like, well, I was drunk, I shouldn't have texted my ex, or I was drunk, I shouldn't have said that mean thing, or I was drunk. And like, all my issues started with, or my excuses started with, well, I was drinking, so can't blame me. But I was trying to hold myself to a higher standard. And I went to my friend's birthday, and it was like during the day on a Sunday. And, you know, for fun, my friend and I ordered champagne, each a bottle, and I drank the whole bottle and no problem. And the rest of the Sunday, I was like, you know, a mess, fun, you know, presumably, but a mess. And I had a horrible hangover the next day, Monday. I had to go to work, and I was like, I can't keep doing this. So basically I said, okay, let me take a month off. I'll tell everybody I'm taking a month off, and, you know, we'll see what happens. And I started to realize, too, a lot of work events were alcohol related. I worked in a news station, and on Fridays I would have happy hour, and you could bring in your own alcohol, and you could, you know, people would bring in more for everybody, and you would drink. And I don't know, I just felt like, oh my God, like, you're a weirdo if you don't drink. It's odd. So, but then I said, okay, no, I'm not going to drink anymore for 1 month. And, you know, I had to tell everybody because people expected me to drink. And people were like, oh, come on, just have one. Oh my God, are you really not going to have any alcohol for a whole month? And it kind of became like, yeah, you know, I'm just taking a break. You know, it's no drink November or whatever. And actually, I gave it up in September, or the beginning of September. So I was kind of like, I'm taking a September break from drinking. And then after a month, I felt really good. I felt better. I felt more clear, more able to work out at the gym. My skin was better. I just felt better overall. My sleep was better. So I said, okay, I'm going to do 1 more month. And that's when it started to become a problem with friends. It was a problem because I made people uncomfortable by not drinking. I still wanted to go out and socialize. I mean, that's the hardest thing right now, is that I want to socialize so badly, but all of my friend group, pretty much, for the most part, their activities are bars. And so, especially in the beginning, 2 years ago, when I was like, you know, just freshly sober, people didn't believe that I was going to really give it up for long term. So they were just like, are you really going to like inconvenience me for like your month-long experiment? Can't we just go out and have fun? And why are you going to be like a pain in the ass essentially right now? So, you know, I felt annoying, that I was annoying people, and that, you know, I was bothering them by not drinking and by ordering something mocktailish, or basically not participating in the group activity, that I was annoying. So, and I either became the designated driver, which is great, and I didn't mind that, but also after a while too, like, it just was uncomfortable. You know, when you're around a lot of drunk people and you're not drunk, it's like weird to watch. That's how I felt all the time. So I'm sure I was coming off as like kind of weird, or like the outsider. But then the more I did it, the more I felt like an outsider, the more I felt less connected to my friends, the more they felt disconnected from me, because I was putting myself in these situations where I was going to the bar but not drinking. Slowly the invitations to go out stopped. And I'm not saying it's my friend's fault, or they're somehow, you know, not cool or like not supportive, but it just didn't make sense to keep asking me to go out. And then I would, and then it would be like, you know, bar hopping, and they could tell I was uncomfortable. Like, I just would stand there and kind of be weird. Or if you're at a really crowded bar, you know, asking for a ginger ale, the bartenders would get pissed. Let me tell you, that's one thing too. If you're going to be sober, you really shouldn't be at the bars, because people are not going to be nice to you. I remember I was in New York. I was visiting my friend, and we went to a show to see an opera. And I got up to the front. I just wanted a ginger ale. I was, you know, gonna pay whatever the price, exorbitant price it was gonna be, $20 or whatever for a little cup. And that guy literally scoffed in my face and was like, ugh, and just poured the ginger ale and like threw it at me and said, just take it. Because I had a credit card, and, you know, people probably will come and be like, well, I understand that. But I had a credit card, and, you know, they were accepting credit cards. It's not my fault. And I would have paid whatever price, but he knew he wasn't going to get a huge tip off of a ginger ale, I guess, because other people were buying bottles of champagne. So he wanted that money and it wasn't worth his time. But like, I wasn't at a bar in that situation. I was at a freaking opera, and I was being shamed for not drinking. So anyways, so basically, I went on a vacation with my mom, and I wasn't drinking, and that really bothered her a lot. It pissed her off so much that, she wanted a drinking buddy. It was just her and I on this trip. And I wouldn't do it because I was going to stay strong and not participate at that time. And we had a huge fight about it, that I was, somehow saying I was better than her, or by me not drinking was like me passing judgment on her. And once that happened, I realized like, okay, this is probably a good thing, because I started to see how angry she would get. As soon as there was a couple drinks, she started to like voice her truth about things, and about how horribly I was living my life and how stupid I was. And, I started to think like, before I would have just kind of had a drink and laughed it off when she would say stuff like that. But now that I was sober, I was like, whoa, this is unhealthy and not good for me overall. So I've been sober for 2 years, like I said. It's been a great 2 years. My fiance doesn't drink much. He never really drank much when we got together. And now he doesn't drink at all because I don't drink at all. So it worked out great that both of us can go out and have mocktails or soda. It does annoy waiters, I will say, because they're excited to have a young couple come in, and they're expecting us to spend a lot of money on drinks, and we don't. But we spend a lot on food, so it all evens out. But yeah, it's funny how people react to you as an adult not drinking. That's something I didn't quite expect going through this experience, that a lot of people will be annoyed by your decision. And I lost a lot of friends. I mean, I had a huge friend group where we would go out, and to be fair, it was a friend group that it was convenient for me and convenient for them as well, that we didn't have to be super close or really share a lot of feelings with each other. It was mostly like a, hey girl, what's up? Do you want to go grab a drink after work and hang out? Meet guys, essentially. And once I stopped, the friendships just weren't able to last because there was no substance other than alcohol involved. So, I lost a lot of friends. I have to defend myself a lot, I feel like, or maybe I just feel that way, but I end up defending myself, or explaining why I decided to give up alcohol. A lot of people, when I first told them, they're like, why, were you an alcoholic? And it's like, first of all, it's a weird question to ask, but I don't know, like, define alcoholic, define alcoholism. Was my liver scarred? No, I don't think, but was I making poor choices on alcohol? Yes. So does that mean I was an alcoholic? I don't know. So it's been tough, and it's not an easy thing to do, I will say. It's isolating to be all in drinking and partying and fun, socializing, and then to just go, I'm done. I'm not drinking anymore. I mean, you really have to change your whole life. But I decided to do that because it's better for me, and I got into therapy, and I think, going through therapy without drinking has been really helpful, because I have all these feelings all the time where it's almost overwhelming. Talking about childhood trauma, talking about stuff growing up, and issues and things that come up in these sessions. I would love to suppress that and push that down because it's not comfortable. But forcing myself to be uncomfortable a little bit has helped me grow faster and helped me get not over these things, but get through a lot of these things without hurting myself in the process. So it sucks sometimes. I really don't have an outlet other than like working out and eating to feel better quickly. But I'm working on it. It's a work in progress. I mean, this channel has helped me a lot to be able to express myself as someone who is living the sober life. I think if you really are taking your self-care seriously, there's no better way to do it for real, than to give it a try. You don't have to stay sober forever, but giving it a try can't hurt you unless you're like going to go through withdrawal, which of course you should consult a doctor before you do anything. But for me, it's been eye-opening, life-changing, both negatively and positively. But at the end of the day, I would do it all over again because I feel healthier in my own body. I feel like I'm in control of my emotions much more, and I have nothing to blame things on. You know, if I talk to you, it's from me. It's not from my inebriated state. So I have to own up to my feelings and beliefs, and you know, it feels good that I can't just like say, oh, I was drunk, I don't know what I meant to say, or yeah, whatever, I don't remember that. It is me. What I say is what I say. So, and I've saved a ton of money not going to bars and buying shots and specialty drinks and stuff. It's just, I enjoy a nice soda or a nice mocktail every so often. But the rest of the time I'm drinking water and iced tea, and it's great. So that's my sobriety story. If you have a sobriety story, please leave it in the comments below. I love to read everyone's take on things and where they're coming from. And, you know, sometimes I feel like people don't talk about the negatives of going sober. So I wanted to kind of bring that story up and kind of how I lost friends and how I struggle with dealing with that. It's not always sunshine and rainbows. It's sometimes annoying, and sometimes you lose out on people, but hey, we got each other, right? If you like this video, and if you like anything on this channel, please like the video, subscribe, because I'm sure there'll be more, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.